This is our laser pass-through. So these same cabinets open on the inside too. It's basically like an upside down boat. And then it goes in that paint booth, and then they'll bend them into...
Okay, and you even have a shower.
Ready for a manufacturing tour? All right. This is our showroom. This is the final product. Here's 3 different trailers that we have, kind of different options. This one is kind of a little bit more middle of the road trailer. This one's our entry line middle grade option, and then this is like super off-road, one of our most expensive trailer right there. So a lot of different options just on how intense you want to get with the accessories and the off-road capabilities. But this is basically a queen size bed on the inside. This is a bunk bed. You can put a 10 on top. This one has a 10 on top.
You can fit like 3 babies in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can definitely fit three people in there. You can put a dog or a kid on the bunk bed. And then that tent actually opens up and it's a king size bed. That's actually bigger in the tent than it is down here.
Gotcha.
So my 3 kids will go in that big tent, and then I'll be down in here, or I'll go up in the tent with one of them and they'll be down here.
And you even have a shower.
Yeah, hot shower.
Is it all in like included, or it's additional?
This
like
is additional. This
okay.
is an option. Yeah, this is like super loaded version. So Maverick actually bought this and was giving it away. So yeah, so this is part of like what teardrops are known for, is their galleys, but this is much more high finished. So you got a fridge here, you got storage here. So this is pass through. So these same cabinets open on the inside too. So if you want more kitchen space or interior storage, you can set it up however you want.
You can play around with your significant if she's cooking dinner and you're stealing something away.
Yeah. Yep. And then you got your stove here. So this just folds up and slides in under. Yeah. So you just hook this up to the propane hookups, and then you have your gas stove here. So yeah, just depending on what you want. This is a heavy duty one, like it has a shower, the awning, and the tent. So this, you know, it starts in the high 20s, but you can load this thing up. This thing's super loaded, like over 60 grand. This is in the teens, so this is like 17 grand. This is an entry level one. This is our most recent finished trailer, a Beanstalk 2.0. What's different about this one is there is no galley. So on the back, it's just a window. So the space on the inside actually feels bigger. If you look inside here, because that galley's not there, the space is actually feels even more roomy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of cost in that galley and in the kitchen, which we took out, which makes we can make it cheaper.
Gotcha.
Yeah, much more minimalist. So this has a bunch of options like hot water shower, stuff like that, but there's more maintenance because there's more accessories.
Yeah.
This is super basic, but I love this stuff because it's like no maintenance.
Yeah.
You know. So.
And this one is middle between both of those?
Yeah, this is between those two. This doesn't have so
shower.
this galley's actually bigger, so you can get a bigger fridge, a bigger stove.
Yeah.
That galley's a little bit bigger. This is just a little bit smaller.
Guys, you probably didn't know about it, but I have my own coaching website. You're welcome to follow it in the link down below and see a lot of really important information about my coaching, about my courses. Don't forget to subscribe to my mailing list, where I will be talking more about my future upcoming products and my future upcoming podcast. Keep tuned and let's get back to the show.
Yeah, here's the manufacturing space. So nobody's here right now, but we'd have a team of people working in each of these cells around the wall over here. So from right here, so I'll show you a couple of the upstream processes. We have a metal shop that builds this frame, it welds it up. We have a fiberglass shop that builds the shell. that goes on top of the trailer. So the frame comes in, put it on a lift, basically put the suspension on it with the wheels, bring it over here. This has the suspension. So you put the floor on that, the suspension on it, bring it over here, put the sidewalls and the galley on the back, then put the ceiling on the inside. We don't have a shell right here, but that basically slides forward right here, and we'll bring a shell in and land it over the top. I'll show you the shells, but that boat part that's one piece, that goes over top of that whole thing. Yeah. So it just holds it all together. And here we put,
looks a massive kitchen.
Yeah, this is where we put the back hatch on. This is a fixture to make sure it's gonna fit. The inside electrical happens in here. The window installation, if there is one, front box. So from right on the other side of that wall to about right here, you get a trailer. So at one point we were doing 2 of these every day. In every cell, we were doing 2 in every cell. Depending on the industry, we actually set up a second line. So now we're doing about 1 over here and 1 on another line. So. Show you our metal shop. So this is our laser. So this is we put sheet metal in here, cuts out a bunch of parts in the metal, and this slides out on a table, and it breaks them into this. So turns a basically sheet metal into these parts. These parts come down here. And we have 2 brakes. So we basically have these 2 big press brakes right here that bend those parts into shape. So they'll take those sheet metal parts that are cut out by the laser, and then they'll bend them into shapes like this.
Yeah.
Then we have our, this is where we weld up our frames. So all the steel parts come in here. We have 2 welding fixtures. So they're welding up frames in those 2 fixtures. If you're here during the day, there's a bunch of welders, you know, welding.
Yeah. How many does this manufacturing facility employ usually?
In manufacturing, there's probably around 90. There's a little over 120 people in the company. So that space over there was where the trailers are. There's actually 2 manufacturing companies, if you remember. So on this side, this is where the other business is running out of. So these products, when you go to an ATM at a bank, okay, that's what we're making. We're making the house for the ATM.
Oh.
So where the ATM goes inside, we make everything around it.
Gotcha.
So right here is basically where the flow happens. So from the metal shop, we'll have parts that come and get pre-assembled in this area. They go across into that, through that curtain is a bodywork area. They're bodyworking the parts. Then they'll come out right here. So here's a bodyworked part. Well, they'll basically prep it for paint. They put Bondo on it, make it smooth, and then it goes in that paint booth, gets painted, comes across here and gets finished. So basically in this little area right here, boom, 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 then we ship it out that door. So we have the manufacturing of the ATM side, that company here, and then Bean on the other side of the company. So kind of 2 companies very close in proximity. That's why I'm able to run both. Yeah. Is because they're right here. You know, me and my business partner, you know, we are owners in both companies. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So that makes it helpful.
Yeah.
So we'll go this way. I'll show you the fiberglass shop.
The most interesting place.
Oh, it's super interesting. It's magic, is what it is. All right. They may have changed the lock on this.
Yeah, I think the gate is still open.
Yeah, I gotta close that. So here's the shells. Here's what we drop over top of the trailer that I was talking about over on that line. So this is all one piece. If you look inside here, this is all one molded part. So there's no seams on the sides. It's basically like an upside down boat. So that's why we say what's different about these is they'll never leak on this roof because there's no seam. So
yeah,
that's what makes our trailers unique. They changed the lock. You have to go around.
they changed the lock and didn't give you a
Oh,
key.
there we go.
Painting. Oof. Yeah.
All right. So this is a very old method of manufacturing. So this is a fiberglass booth. Let me show you the parts. Tomorrow morning, they will come and grab these molds. I'll show you the process.
Pretty cool.
They have one in here? All right. This is kind of crazy. Let's see if there's a light.
Okay.
Or where the light for the booth is. Never had to turn it on. So this is a fiberglass mold in here. So what this is there's basically a mold. They spray gel coat into it. Then they basically shred fiberglass. So if you look at this, there's basically a gun that shreds it, and they just shred fiberglass over top of it, and then they take resin and they roll it out with rollers. And all three of those three things, they come and they cure. This is a heat booth. There's heaters in here, so they'll roll it in here and cook it. All that cures into basically this part. So here's sidewalls. That's one finish. We have multiple molds, but basically what goes on in there comes out here. They pop it out of the shell, and then they finish it here. So it's a lost art, is what it is, but it's a cheap way of manufacturing. So the molds are very expensive, so that's why people don't get into it. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars to build molds. So you really better know you're gonna sell these parts.
Well, be careful.
Yeah. These trailers may have been damaged ones. They came back for some repairs. So one of the challenges that we had here is when I first started working at the one company is we didn't have enough space to really start this company. There were additional processes that we needed, and out here none of this was built. This was just a big lot. And it was basically a junkyard of old parts when I first started here. So we had to clean all that up, but we talked to the landlord. He didn't want to build another facility here. So we're like, we're gonna build one ourselves then. So we actually built this ourselves. This is part of like just that mentality of we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So we have containers with domes attached to them, so we can actually move these facilities.
Yeah.
These aren't permanent. So we basically built our own manufacturing space in an open lot where we start. There's basically a second manufacturing line that we built in there. There's a water test dome, there's a mold making dome, and there's a prototype dome. So those have allowed us to continue to grow and build this company and grow it without having to expand and buy additional facilities and have a bunch of transportation costs and stuff. So these are some of the molds that they use in there. This is basically a part right here. They'll pop this tomorrow and it's going to make a shell. So it's been quite a challenging process, and like I said, it's a little dirty of a process. It's, you know, this isn't, we're not going into clean rooms, and it's not like a super clean environment to work in. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. I'm walking around with dust or dirt on me most of the day. I don't care. Yeah, it's daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the challenge. So,
and I presume you load it on the trucks and send it to the client?
Yep. Well, so that's a co-tenant. They lease some of the yard space we don't use.
Gotcha.
We'll take over all the property in a couple of years, but we had to grow into all this space. So.
Gotcha.
Yep.
This looks exciting, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's fun. This is the world I live in.